Oi, oi, lads. Mystical Archive tier list chat. As usual, when it comes to these type of things, we must be specific about what the tier list is. This tier list. Now, please listen up, motherfuckers. This tier list is not how powerful has this card been in X deck that your mum bought for you for $100 million, okay? That is not what this tier list is. This tier list is, how good are these cards in Historic? Okay, Abundant Harvest, S tier. Not much to say about that. S tier card. Best card in the Mystical Archive, by the way. Maybe just the best card in Historic. We'll find out. I mean, its only competition is THOUGHTSEIZE and Kozilek. Those are the top 3 cards in the format. That's probably number 1. Abundant Harvest is banned though. It's not banned. It probably will get banned though. It's a Modern Horizon 2 early reveal card though, right? Yes, that card will be in Modern Horizons 2, but it will be illegal in Historic from the start. The card is green for 1 green. It's a sorcery and you choose land or non-land. And then you reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card of the chosen kind. Put that card into your hand and put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So it is a 1 mana once upon a time that never bricks. It's absolutely broken. It's not as good as Once Upon a Time, but there's only about 5 cards in Magic history that are as good as Once Upon a Time and about 50,000 that aren't, and this one's actually close. It is either the best card in all of Historic or maybe THOUGHTSEIZE. We'll find out. It's kind of bad in the late game. It's only bad in the late game if you're top decking with no board, right? And the problem with top decking with no board is that not many cards are good in that spot. And even then you can, like, I don't know. If you've got absolutely no board, no hand, you can just pass, right? You can just hold it. But yes, potentially best card in all of Historic, and Historic is a format with Brainstorm. That's how good it is. Adventurous Impulse. I like cards like this, but that's a D. Why is there a reprints tier? Wait, so the tier list is supposed to be Abundant Harvest in S, and then every other card goes in reprint? Wow. Agonizing Remorse is a D. Approach, D. Blue Suns, Zenith, S. Hashtag ad? I was not paid for this comment. Okay, I mean, if I honestly evaluate this card, it goes in D. That's fine, right? Brainstorm. Brainstorm, brainstorm, brainstorm. So across all of Magic, this is an S tier card. In Historic, this is going to be either S tier or maybe just A tier. I think I'm going to put it in A for now, and it might go up to S. But I need to see the rest of the cards first. Channel banned. Chaos Warp. D. Claim the Firstborn. Oof. Claim the Firstborn, huh? So today, Claim the Firstborn is S tier. After all these cards come out, more difficult to evaluate, huh? So I'm going to have Brainstorm as A, potentially S. I'm going to have Claim in A, potentially B. This could easily go down as we move through. Compulsive Research, D. Counterspell banned. Crux of Fate, D. Cultivate, D. Cultivate can have a little spot in the C tier. Dark Ritual banned. Day of Judgment, D. Defiant Strike, D. Demonic Tutor banned. D. Spark, D. Divine Gambit, D. Doomblade. D, I think. Duress. I guess Duress is now a D card, huh? Because we have Kozilek and Thoughtseize. Electrolyze. D. What's this one? So that's Eliminate, right? Ephemerate. Easy A. Faithless Luton. Easy S. Gift. D. God's Willing, D. Grape Shot. For now, I'm going to have Grape Shot in D, but it's the only Storm card that might be above D. Maybe. Growth Spiral, A. Harmonize, D. What is this? Vinganza Crescesci? Double spell? Ah, whatever. Infuriate. Alright, Kozilek. Here we go. S. Easy S. In fact, Kozilek goes here. Grip. Nope. Lightning Bolt. Sad, man. Helix. Helix is a solid C in my opinion. Mana Tithe, that's an A. Memory Lapse, that's an S. Mind's Desire, D. Memory, Natural Order banned, negate, D. You know what? Negates a C. Opt, Outclass now, Primal Commands not good enough. Putrefy is trash. Regrowth. Revitalize. Shock. Sign in Blood. Sign in Blood is not as good as these. Sign in Blood's the perfect B card. Snakeskin Veil, trash. Stone Rain, trash. Strategic Planning. Swords to Plowshare is banned. Tainted Pact. Teferi's Protection. Bad, 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 bad. Time Warp. Is Time Warp S or A? That's a good question. I think A seems fair, huh? A seems fair for now. I just want to get a rough tier list done, and then we'll mess around with these actually good ones at the end. See if we can tidy it up. Ours is Rage, bad. Village Rights, bad. Weather, bad. Denial, bad. That's Eliminate again, right? Okay, so that is every card. So these are the bombs, in my opinion. Abundant Harvest, Inquisition of Kozilek, Faithless Looting, Memory Lapse, Brainstorm, Claim the Firstborn, Ephemerate, Growth Spiral, Mana Tithe, Time Warp, Sign in Blood, Lightning Helix, and Negate. Alright, so some of these A's need to get put down to B and C. So that probably means Sign in Blood has to go to C too. Sign in Blood to C. Claim. Ephemerate. Mana Tithe to B. Yup. We also need to get rid of one of these S tier cards. Now, don't at me, but the S tier card that is no longer going to be an S tier card is Faithless Looting. We also need to push down Growth Spiral or Time Warp. -1 rank for the art. Faithless Looting just ain't doing that much, is it? I don't think it'll be as impactful as these three cards. This card is a 4 of in every deck with green mana. This card is up to a 4 of in every single deck with black mana. And this card is a 4 of in every deck with blue mana. This card is not a 4 of in every deck with red mana, but it is going to be a good card in every deck that it's played in though. Guys, we can't have 4 S tier. This is not excuse me. This is not an acceptable tier list in my opinion. You can't have the biggest quantity of cards in S. S is a unique position for only the bomb of the bombs. A good tier list is like a pyramid. Exactly. Something needs to go, and you can't remove. You can't cut Kozilek, one of the best cards ever, the only 2 mana counterspell in the format, and the new Once Upon a Time. So looting does have to go to A. It's actually not as good as these 3 cards. It's a great card, but I mean all the other cards in A are also great, right? That's why fucking Mystical Archive is hype. It's cause I put too much stuff in D. I mean, this is a fair D tier that does. They're all bad. Alright chat, what's going to be Growth Spiral or Time Warp? Time Warp? I can see Time Warp going down, yeah. Okay chat. The final demotion. Claim, Ephemerate, Mana Tithe, Time Warp. One of these goes to C. What belongs in the Helix, Negate, Sign in Blood tier, and what belongs in the Claim, Ephemerate, Mana Tithe, Time Warp tier? I could see it being Ephemerate. Ephemerate is one of the most powerful cards. I mean, Ephemerate might just be the best fucking card out of all of these, but it's also one of the hardest to make a deck with, right? Looting has to be S. It's better than every one of those at the top. Maybe in older formats, man. In historical, looting is like play your CROKEYZ 1 turn earlier. In older format, it's like, okay, begin winning the game on turn 1. It's just not what it is in historic, man. Tithe ain't that good. You're crazy, mate. You are crazy. Tithe wins games when you draw it, and Tithe wins games when you don't draw it. You tell me another card on this list that can win a game just by being in your deck. Or sometimes not even being in your deck. Yeah, guys, like, looting's a great card, of course it is. But you have to play a deck with your looting, right? These three cards at the top, they are just the first four cards that go in any deck you make of any of these three colours. Like, 4 of every green deck, in combination with Thoughtseize, like a 6 to 8 of in every black deck, 4 of in every blue deck. Brainstorm, Looting, Growth Spiral, these ones go in more specific decks. They're obviously, they're the same power level as these other cards, but they're just not in as many decks. You don't put Laps in all decks? I think you put Laps in all blue decks, man. Like, if you're playing a Nissa or a Tef deck, you're playing it. If you're playing a blue tempo deck, you play it. You just play it. It's in every deck, man. Why wouldn't it be? Alright, chat. I think this is a fair list. Any yippers or nopers? Mind's Desire's there somewhere to... Yep, there. Looting is better than any of those. Alright, that's a kick W. Andrea, thanks for the red. Appreciate it. Andrea, I've put Faithless Looting and Brainstorm as A tier. Any comments? This is for historic only, right? Impact on historic. I know in all of Magic they go here. Sure. But for historic, I put them here. Is that fair? So I just think that Abundant Harvest, Inquisition, and Memory Lapse, they're going to go in like every deck, right, of these colours. So every green deck plays this, every black deck plays this, every blue deck plays this. Most red decks probably play Looting, but not all of them. Most blue decks probably play Brainstorm. Maybe all blue decks play Brainstorm. But, like, you probably wouldn't play Brainstorm in, like, a tempo deck, right? But maybe you would, I don't know. Looting will have a higher impact than you expect. I mean, I expect it... Guys, I've not got it on fucking D tier. I've got it... I mean, I consider Abundant Harvest and Inquisition of Kozilek to be, like, 2 of the 3 best cards in all of Historic, okay? I mean, maybe Faithless Looting's like a top 10 card, but maybe it's a top 5 card. I'm not saying it's bad, obviously. I just think these are 2 of the 3 best cards in the whole format, you know? Helix C tier? Helix could maybe be in the D tier, man. I'm kind of biased for this card, so it's probably a D tier card. You have the bonus of coming in fresh to all these cards and being able to judge them against the current format, while all these other people are judging them based on the decks they were good in 5 years ago in that particular format. Yeah. That's definitely a huge advantage. I've got a big disadvantage too of having never actually casted them, but on balance, I think it's an advantage to have never used them. I could honestly see a change to the tier list being this. What do we think about this, chat? Have I just upgraded the tier list? Looks pretty hot, huh? So here we have Abundant Harvest, Kozilek, Brainstorm, Looting, Memory Lapse, Claim, Mana Tithe, Time Warp, Growth Spiral, Negate, Helix, Sign and Blood, Ephemerate, and then all of the cards that you would only ever craft if you like art. We need 1 card from D to C for the perfect pyramid. Okay. Alright, chat. 1 card from D to C. Remorse, Impulse, Approach, Blue Sun, Zenith, Chaos Warp. One card, huh? Could be this one, huh? Mizzix's Mastery. Seems like a good contender. Regrowth? Nah, Regrowth's not that good, man. You can play Regrowth attached to a land, mate. Why would you ever play Regrowth? Grape Shot's cool, yeah, I just don't think you can enable Grape Shot. Like, you need Grape Shot to deal 4 damage, right? It needs to on average deal 4 damage. There's no way you can make Grape Shot deal on average 4 damage in Historic. Not possible. I mean, you can make it deal 4 or more in the odd game, but not on average. I don't care about your Disneyland shit. I care about average results. And on average, Grape Shot deals like 2 damage, right? Between 2 and 3, I would say. That's just not. That's nowhere near good enough for Historic. Alright, chat. I'm sorry, but I've got to make a change here. Claim goes down to C. Negate comes up to B. Don't at me. It's just how it is, guys. It's just life. That's just life. Your all-time favorite card is C tier? That's not. I'm just want to take a new approach to my content creation, you know? I'm now gonna be fully pro Gandalf to rein in the Gandalf years. I've got to find a way to make the Gandalf viewers think that I'm also a fellow Gandalf, and then so that they'll watch my content. It is an untapped market, honestly. The Gandalf viewers, they don't have a home. They've got nowhere to watch Magic the Gathering. You know that Nassif does stream? I don't know who Nassif is. Is he from another game or something? Oh, he's a poker player. Oh, right. Okay. Alright, chat. Do we have a tier list here? Seems like a good tier list to me. Que Ecuador! Que Ecuador!